Hey everyone, welcome to English Pod, where we make learning English fun with How I Met Your Mother. In this series, I'll break down keywords, slang, idioms, and cultural references from each episode to help you improve your English naturally. Watch before or after the episode to boost your understanding. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's dive in.
Okay, so where should we start?
Let's kick off with the vocabulary. First up, initiate. The definition is pretty straightforward, to start or begin something. And the example is Robin talking to Ted saying, I didn't initiate the whole I love you thing.
Right. And that word choice, initiate, it's interesting, isn't it? It's not just saying, I didn't start it.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Well, initiate feels a bit more deliberate, like taking the first decisive step. She's specifically pointing out she wasn't the active agent there.
Okay. So it's about who took the lead, the responsibility almost.
Exactly. It hints at the power dynamics, even subtle ones, in how relationships begin.
Good point. Okay, next one. Premature, meaning happening or done too soon.
Yes. Ted's classic dilemma.
Totally, Ted. He's worried, basically, that saying I love you to Victoria happened way too early. The example. Maybe it was premature to say it.
And premature really captures that feeling of breaking some kind of unspoken rule of timing in relationship.
Yeah, like you've jumped ahead too fast.
Right. It suggests things maybe weren't quite ready for that step, questioning if the feelings are, solid yet. It taps into those social scripts we all have about pacing.
The invisible relationship roadmap Ted's always trying to follow, or accidentally veering off from. Okay, let's shift gears. Charismatic.
Oh, I think I know who this is about.
You guessed it. Barney. Defined as having a compelling charm that inspires others. The scene is Barney at the bar, being, well, Barney.
Overly charismatic, the example says, and that overly is key, isn't it?
Yeah, what does that add?
It suggests it's maybe a bit performative, charm is one thing, but overly charismatic sounds like he's consciously dialing it up, putting on a show. It's that magnetic pull, but maybe slightly exaggerated for effect.
It's his standard operating procedure. Okay, a slightly heavier one now. Resentful. Defined as bitter due to feeling wronged or overlooked. And this comes up with Robin's reaction to seeing Ted and Victoria together.
Resentful.
Yeah.
That's a strong word. It's more than just being sad or jealous.
Right. It carries that feeling of unfairness, doesn't it? Like she feels she's been slighted somehow.
Exactly. Her resentful look, as the note says, it kind of betrays those lingering feelings for Ted, even if she's trying not to show it. It's complex.
You can almost taste the bitterness. Okay, moving to something a bit funnier maybe. Temptation.
Lily and Marshall.
Yep. A desire to do something especially wrong or unwise. And it's their struggle, their pact, not to be all over each other.
The example, the temptation was strong, but we resisted, is just gold because they barely resisted, if at all.
Right.
That internal battle between what you should do and what you desperately want to do, it's just universally funny and relatable.
Their physical comedy around that is great. Okay,
Yeah.
Restrained, meaning controlled or limited, not overly emotional.
So the opposite of Lily and Marshall's temptation struggle.
Kind of, yeah. This describes Ted when he's talking to Victoria after the premature I love you, trying to dial it back.
Ted was very restrained, the example says. That suggests a real conscious effort, right? He went big, maybe regretted it, and now he's trying to be super measured.
Playing it cool, or trying to. It's like a course correction.
Yeah, learning on the fly. Maybe.
Maybe. Next, clarity. The quality of being clear and understandable.
And this has Ted written all over it, too.
Absolutely. He needs to know where things stand with Victoria. I need clarity. Do we have a future?
That need for definition, for knowing the score, it's so Ted. But also, it's pretty common, right? Especially early on. You want to avoid ambiguity.
Nobody enjoys relationship fog.
Yeah.
Okay, impressionable.
Meaning easily influenced?
Exactly. Easily affected or influenced, especially by others. And this is Barney teasing Ted.
You're too impressionable, Ted. Classic Barney just jabbing at his friend's perceived weakness.
Like Ted just goes along with whatever the latest person, usually a woman, thinks.
Yeah, implies maybe he doesn't have strong enough boundaries or his own firm opinions. Delivered, of course, with maximum Barney condescension.
You can just hear it. Okay, discreet, meaning careful in one's conduct or speech to avoid attention.
Back to Lily and Marshall trying not to traumatize Ted.
All right, trying to keep their activities under wraps.
Yeah.
Be discreet. We don't want Ted to know.
It's about managing that social awkwardness, being aware of how your actions might affect someone else, trying to be subtle.
Which is not usually their strong suit.
Not at all.
Okay, last vocabulary word. Intervene. To step in, to change or stop something from happening.
And who's the intervener here?
It's Robin. Stepping in when Barney's potentially crossing a line with Ted about something.
Robin had to intervene before Barney went too far. Yeah, that sounds about right. She often plays that role, doesn't she? The mediator.
The voice of relative sanity.
Intervene suggests things are escalating, heading towards trouble, and someone needs to jump in and redirect. She's reading the room.
Okay, so that's a good look at the individual words. Really useful stuff.
Definitely. But the phrases and idioms are where English gets really colorful, you know.
Totally. Let's dive into those. First up, a simple but effective one. Zip it.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Slang for be quiet.
And Barney uses it just perfectly. Hey, zip it. I'm trying to focus here. It's so direct, so informal. You wouldn't say it in a business meeting, probably.
Probably not.
But among friends, that visual of zipping your lips,
Yeah.
it works. It's punchy.
It is. Okay, next, the phrasal verb catch up, meaning to get up to date with someone or something.
A really common one. Robin suggests it to Ted. Let's grab coffee and catch up.
Yeah, and the up part implies getting current, right? Filling in the gaps since you last spoke.
Exactly. It's low pressure, social. Just reconnecting, adding grab coffee makes it even more casual.
Nice. Then we have, make out.
Meaning to kiss passionately. And this is Lily and Marshall's whole dilemma again.
We promise not to make out in front of Ted. The struggle is real.
It really is. And make out is pretty specific, isn't it? It's not just a quick peck.
No, definitely not. It highlights how central that physical affection is to them, that not doing it is the challenge.
Right. Okay, what's next?
Back off. Another phrasal verb, meaning to stop bothering or pressuring someone.
Ah, so when one of them does slip up?
Exactly. Lily telling Marshall, back off. We agreed to behave tonight. Laying down a law.
Back off is quite firm, isn't it? It establishes a clear boundary, like you're crossing a line, stop.
Yeah, she is taking charge of their pack there.
Good for her.
Then we have set the mood, meaning to create a romantic or comfortable atmosphere.
Lily again. Trying to salvage some romance amidst the awkwardness.
You got it. Thinking about candles and music. Let's set the mood with music and wine.
Yeah, it's about intentionally creating an ambiance, right?
Yeah.
Using external things, music, lighting, wine, to foster a particular feeling, usually intimacy or relaxation.
Making an effort to make it special. Okay, now for a classic idiom. Third wheel.
Ah, poor Ted.
I know. Defined as a person who feels unnecessary or out of place in a group, especially among couples. And Ted says it himself. I'm totally the third wheel right now.
It's such a perfect idiom, that image of an extra unnecessary wheel. It instantly conveys that feeling of awkwardness, of not quite belonging.
And his self-awareness makes it funny, but also kind of sad. We've all been the third wheel, haven't we?
Yeah. Unfortunately. Okay, next.
Next is take it slow. A phrasal verb meaning to proceed gradually, especially in a relationship.
This is Ted again, trying to apply lessons learned with Victoria.
Yep. Let's take it slow and not rush anything. Trying to be more measured this time.
It's common advice. Take it slow. It suggests building a foundation rather than jumping in head first. A conscious pacing.
Let's hope it works from. Okay, then there's hookup.
Ah, Barney's favorite topic.
Pretty much. Defined as to engage in a casual, romantic, or sexual encounter. And Barney's question to Ted, did you two hook up last night?
Hookup is interesting because it can be kind of ambiguous, right? It can mean different things to different people.
True. From kissing to up.
Exactly. And Barney uses that ambiguity to be nosy, to provoke. It's informal, maybe a bit crude, depending on context.
Classic Barney interrogation. Okay, nearly there. Get caught up in.
Meaning to become deeply involved, often emotionally.
That's the one. Ted's explanation for the early I love you. I got caught up in the moment and said too much.
It suggests being swept away, maybe losing a bit of rational thought because the emotions or the situation felt so intense.
Like an emotional whirlwind took over.
Yeah, loss of control almost. It's a way of explaining impulsive behavior. Very human.
Very Ted. Okay, last one. Wait it out.
Meaning just be patient until something unpleasant ends.
Exactly. Lily and Marshall's strategy for dealing with the awkward Ted situation. Let's just wait it out and leave in the morning.
It's a passive approach, isn't it? Instead of confronting or fixing the awkwardness, just endure it until it's over.
Sometimes that's all you could do, right? Just ride out the storm.
It's definitely a common social coping mechanism. Avoidance, but framed as patience.
So yeah, looking back at all these, it's amazing how much nuance is packed into just one episode.
Absolutely. You've got advanced words like initiate or resentful, giving specific emotional weight, and then these everyday phrases like catch up or third wheel that make the dialogue feel real and relatable.
And seeing them used in the show by characters we know, it really helps cement their meaning, much more than just a definition list.
Exactly. Yeah, let's unpack the cultural side first. This episode definitely throws around some pretty well-known references.
It really does. Okay, so right off the bat, you've got that laser tag scene. Barney makes a move and Robin reacts.
Oh yeah. She says, that was so James Bond.
Exactly. And okay, if you don't know James Bond, you might just think, oh, she means he was cool.
Which is true, but it's more than that, isn't it?
So much more. James Bond instantly brings this whole image to mind, right?
Yeah.
The British spy, super sophisticated, charming.
Gadgets, action, the whole deal.
The whole deal. So Robin's not just saying cool, she's painting the specific picture. Suave, competent, maybe a little dangerous, action-ready. It's amazing how pop culture figures become this, like, shorthand.
Like a cultural code.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Everyone who gets the reference understands this whole package of meaning instantly. You probably notice similar things, people whose names just mean something specific in conversation.
It really is like a cheat code for communication. And speaking of that scene, laser tag itself, is that just a random choice for the show, or is there like a cultural significance there?
Well, it definitely holds a certain place in American recreational culture. When Barney's like, let's hit up the laser tag arena, all excited.
Yeah, his voice totally changes.
It taps into this shared experience a lot of people had maybe as kids, maybe at birthday parties, these neon arenas, the infrared guns.
Right, it's kind of playful but competitive.
And there's definitely a nostalgia factor for adults. Plus, like you said, it shows Barney's character, the suit comes off, and there's this almost childlike enthusiasm.
It drops the sophisticated act for a minute, makes you think, what are the equivalent activities in other places? The things that bring out that shared nostalgia or fun?
That's a really good question for listeners to ponder, actually.
All right.
How does that compare cross-culturally? And Barney doesn't stop there with the references, does he?
No way. He keeps the pop culture train going. Right after suggesting laser tag, he hits us with set phasers to awesome.
Yes. Which, again, if you've never seen Star Trek.
Just sounds like nonsense, maybe. Phasers.
Exactly. But for a huge chunk of, let's say, Western pop culture,
Yeah.
especially what you might call nerd or geek culture, Star Trek is massive.
Right, Captain Picard.
Captain Picard, from The Next Generation, known for his leadership, always saying engage. And phasers are their, standard sci-fi weapons.
So Barney's line is just layering this sci-fi term onto laser tag for comedic effect.
Pretty much. It's that humorous borrowing of language from a specific subculture to, like, add mock seriousness or just signal you're part of that group, you get the reference.
It's like an inside joke almost, but one a lot of people are in on.
Yeah, and it's interesting how that kind of specific language can spread into everyday conversation. Makes you think about other hobbies or groups with their own lingo, right?
Definitely. Okay, switching gears a bit, more towards relationships. We see Ted feeling kind of awkward with Lily and Marshall.
Oh, yep.
And he says, I'm totally the third wheel tonight. Now, that phrase, third wheel, it feels pretty obvious what it means.
It does, feeling like the extra unnecessary person, especially when a couple is being, coupley.
So the origin is quite literal, isn't it?
It really is. It goes back to, like, early vehicles. A cart or carriage needs two wheels to work properly. A third one.
Just extra in the way, redundant.
Exactly. Functionally redundant. It's a great example of how an idiom gets rooted in a really concrete, almost physical image from the past. It's not just a random phrase for feeling left out.
That's fascinating. I wonder if other languages have similar idioms using objects for that feeling.
Good question. It really highlights how language connects to cultural history and even technology. And sticking with relationships, the episode dives right into that early relationship awkwardness with Ted and Victoria.
Oh, yeah. And Barney has some strong opinions about Ted saying, I love you.
He certainly does.
Yeah.
His reaction is so over the top, joking, why don't you just call her your wife already? And that really taps into this cultural idea, especially in Western dating, maybe particularly American dating, the I love you too soon trope.
Right. The idea that saying it too early is like a bad sign, a red flag.
Often, yeah. There are these unspoken rules, these timelines that people sort of expect. Saying it too soon, whatever that means individually, can feel intense,
Yeah.
maybe rushing things.
It seems tied to maybe a fear of vulnerability or not wanting to seem too eager.
Could be. It often relates to this idea of building intimacy gradually. So Barney's joke, while exaggerated, reflects a real social pressure or norm. It makes you consider how different cultures handle expressing affection early on.
Totally. What's normal in one place might be way too fast or even too slow somewhere else. Understanding those unspoken rules is key if you're, say, dating someone from a different background.
Absolutely. Those norms can really influence how interactions are perceived.
Okay, so that covers some of the big cultural beats. Shall we shift over to the grammar side?
Yes, let's do it. Because even in, casual sitcom dialogue, there's some interesting English usage happening, stuff that's really useful for learners to notice.
Definitely. Let's start with something that seems simple. Ellipsis and omission.
Remember after the laser tag, Robin just says, "That was awesome."
Yeah, with that little pause.
Right, that pause, often shown with dots in writing, but just a hesitation in speech, it works alongside omission. Ellipsis is basically leaving out words that are obvious from the context.
So she doesn't need the full sentence. That laser tag game we just played was awesome.
Exactly, the context does the work. It's super common in natural speech, makes it flow better, less formal. We understand each other.
But the pause itself adds something too, right?
It really does. That hesitation, that was awesome, it gives the word awesome more weight, more impact. It mirrors how we actually speak. We pause, we emphasize. It conveys that strong feeling.
It's a good reminder that grammar isn't just rules on paper, it's how we actually use language to mean things.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, next one sounds a bit more intimidating. The subjunctive mood.
Ooh, fancy term. But it shows up here.
It does. When Ted's thinking about Marshall and Lily, he says, if I were Marshall, I wouldn't have waited that long.
The if I were construction.
That's the classic subjunctive signal. Don't worry about the name, really. It's just the grammar we use for talking about things that are like hypothetical, unreal, wished-for situations that aren't actually true right now.
So Ted isn't Marshall, obviously. He's just imagining being in his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
The were signals, it's imaginary.
Precisely. Instead of the normal past tense was, we use were for all subjects I were, you were, she were, when it's in that kind of hypothetical if clause.
Okay.
It's a subtle tool, but important for showing we're talking about possibilities, not facts.
Yeah.
You probably use it without thinking, like if I won the lottery. That's subjunctive.
Yeah, I guess I do. Okay, what's next? Cleft sentences. That really sounds like a grammar lesson.
It does. But again, totally natural usage in the show. Cleft sentences are basically a way to split a sentence to emphasize one particular part.
Okay. How does that work here?
Well, Robin, talking about laser tag again, she says, what I love about laser tag is the adrenaline.
Ah, okay. Instead of just, I love the adrenaline in laser tag.
Exactly. See how that structure, what I love is, isolates and highlights the adrenaline. It puts a spotlight on that specific element.
It definitely makes it stand out more.
That's the whole point of a cleft sentence. It cleaves or splits the sentence to add emphasis. We use them all the time to make our point clearer or stress what's most important to us. Keep an ear out. You'll notice them.
I will now. Okay, moving on. Inversion. That sounds like poetic or something.
It often is, yeah. Inversion just means flipping the usual word order of a sentence. It's often done for a stylistic effect, maybe a bit more formal or literary.
And Ted's narration uses this.
Yep. There's a great line. Gone was the silence, and in its place came awkwardness.
Right. Instead of the more standard, the silence was gone and awkwardness came in its place.
Exactly. Flipping it like that, gone was the silence, it adds a slightly more dramatic narrative feel. It emphasizes the word gone right at the start.
It makes it sound a bit more weighty.
Weighty, descriptive, literary. Yeah. You won't use it constantly in casual chat, maybe, but you see it a lot in writing, storytelling, and sometimes in speech for dramatic effect. It's about intentionally playing with word order.
Makes sense. It catches your attention. Okay, last one on our grammar list. Embedded or indirect questions.
Ah, yes. These often sound a bit softer, more polite than direct questions.
Oh, so?
Well, look at Lily talking to Marshall about, their relationship timing. She's up, I was wondering if you really want to wait.
Okay, so the question part is if you really want to wait.
Right. But notice it's embedded inside a statement. I was wondering.
Yeah.
And the a word order in the question part is like a statement you really want, not like a direct question, do you really want?
Ah, I see. It feels less direct, less demanding somehow.
Exactly. It softens the question. It's often used when you want to be considerate, maybe you're asking something sensitive or you don't want to put someone on the spot. It's a politeness strategy, really.
Like asking for a favor, maybe? I was wondering if you could help me.
Perfect example. It's a very common and useful structure in English.
Wow, okay. This has been incredibly illuminating, just pulling apart one episode.
It really shows you, doesn't it, how much cultural nuance and, frankly, sophisticated grammar is just naturally woven into something like a popular sitcom.
It's not just background noise, it's a rich resource.
Absolutely.
Here's the synopsis for How I Met Your Mother. Season 1, Episode 14. Zip, zip, zip. Ted and Victoria are finally alone after dating for a while, but their attempts at intimacy are constantly interrupted, leading to comedic frustration. Meanwhile, Marshall and Lily look forward to some rare alone time in the apartment while Ted is away, but their plans are hilariously disrupted when Ted unexpectedly returns early. At the same time, Robin and Barney unexpectedly hang out together and end up bonding over laser tag and cigars. Their surprising chemistry leads to a moment where it seems like they might kiss, but ultimately, they decide they're better off as friends, setting the stage for their future dynamic in the series. The episode explores themes of timing in relationships, friendship boundaries, and the unpredictable dynamics of romantic and platonic chemistry.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning new words, phrases, grammar, and cultural references from How I Met Your Mother. I'll be back with the next lesson soon. Until then, bye.